Hi, my name is Jacqui-Lee Pryce and welcome to Shadowboxruk. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm good. I'm just in the gym at the minute. Just getting. I'm going to train after this, so thought I'd come in here and do the interview in here.
I was going to say I'm not surprised at all that you're in the gym.
To be honest, I think I've been training harder through this lockdown than I normally do. It's kind of sent me a bit crazy with some of the daft training sessions I've been doing, but I've been enjoying it. And you know what I've tried to do? I've tried to kind of use the time to better myself. You know what I mean? As a person and as an athlete as well.
Talk to me about that crazy training you've been doing, because there are people that have been doing, little bits and pieces ticking over, but no, Callum has to go right in. Talk to the viewers about what you've been up to and why.
Basically, I've been training obviously anyway, so I would have to keep myself training. But I started doing these, what we call a Wacky Wednesday challenge. And how it started, my friend started a fundraising up for the NHS, and I jumped on board to help him. And I started just by doing a 100k cycle. And that was the initial plan, just to do that, raise a few quid, and then just crack on with normal training. And it kind of, it blew up. So many people were interested and involved in it. And there was Adam Peaty got involved, Olympic gold medalist. There was a few other top professional athletes. And I think there's about 700 people that took part in that ride on Zwift. It's like a virtual cycling thing. So, and I thought, wow, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the old buzz around it. So I said, well, I might as well do one next Wednesday. And I just went from there, and I was sort of on social media, I was letting people set my challenge. So I was kind of getting people saying, oh, do this or do that. And I was looking at them, and some was a little bit too easy and some was maybe a little bit too hard. So I was going with ones that I thought I could do, but was a bit of a challenge. So yeah, and I ended up doing these crazy training sessions, and but it's been good. I've enjoyed it, and I'm not going to do any more now for, say, the Wacky Wednesday, but I'm changing it to Sundays, just my own personal challenges. And this next Sunday, I'm going to do 107 miles on the bike with 8,000 foot of climbing as well. So that's going to be a tough one, that.
I saw that and I was like, this guy is nuts.
I don't know what's happened to me. It's do you know what it is as well? I think it's kind of, I've had to find, because I'm one of these people that if I'm not in a good routine and I'm not living my life correctly and doing things like kind of keeping myself active and doing things to keep myself sane, if you like, I can spiral out of control pretty quickly. So obviously when lockdown started, was put in place, and I kind of had a little chat with myself, and it was like, listen, you can't do anything about it. You know, you can either deal with it and grow from it, or if you kind of let this ruin you or ruin your mindset, it could potentially finish me. So, or say finish me in boxing, because it's in there, I'm not getting any younger. So I thought, well, no, what I'll do is I'll keep myself dead right, and then when the time comes, I'll be ready to go.
And when you say you would have spiraled out of control, what do you mean by that?
Just not out of control as in like drinking or anything like that. Just my own mental demons. Do you know what I mean? I can soon spiral out of control, and I can lay in bed for a week without even blinking an eye. Do you know what I mean? So I've like I say, if I'm not active and I'm not doing positive things, and if I'm not doing things that help myself or help other people, again, I can just spiral out of control. So I thought, I might as well use the time to do something good.
Yeah. Has there been any sort of schedules that have been set for you by the others that you think, I really wish I hadn't started this?
Yeah, well, there was a couple. The last one on Wednesday, I did one. And halfway through that, I was thinking, oh, I can't do these anymore. But, but it's nice, when you finish them, it's kind of you get a bit of self-satisfaction out of it, because you cross that finish line and you think, wow, that was a session and a half. And before this lockdown come about, I would have never dreamt of doing the kind of sessions I've done, and I would have never have dreamt I would ever been capable of doing them. So I've kind of also shown myself what I actually am capable of as well on the physical side. And I'm like I say, I'm capable of quite a lot that I never realised, and it's kind of refreshing. And it's good for my own mental confidence and like you say, knowing what I have got in me.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually by when I've been watching them, and going on a statement that you've made that there are no like heavies or middleweights that are stronger than you. I bet now they've been looking at that and gone, I think he might be right.
Yeah, no, like you say, I think. Do you know what? As well, as much as I've always trained hard and I've always lived clean. I've never been a drinker or anything like that. So I've never like kind of lived in a bad way where I've not looked after myself. But when I think back to the way I've been living now, when I think back before this, you know, I didn't really live like an athlete. I've never lived like an athlete. It's only in lockdown that I've actually lived like an athlete, and the sort of growth and the improvements I've made in 6 weeks, I think to myself, wow, why did I start living like this 4 or 5 years ago? You know, but it's one of them, and it's experience. You know, we live and we learn, and sometimes things happen, and you like you say, they can either make you or break you, and you can either use them to your advantage or not, and that's what I'm trying to do. But it does kind of make me think, you know, I wish I'd started living like this 4 years ago. You know, how strong could it have been? You know what I mean?
When you say you weren't living like that, do you mean that you took time off between fights? So obviously, as a pro, some people choose to just train for the period up to the fight, whereas some people now are training almost a little bit like the amateurs, where they tick over throughout the year and then they step it up when they have to go into a camp.
Yeah, no, not so much the training, because I always trained, but just my lifestyle in general, you know, my sleeping patterns, my food patterns, you know, like fluids, you know, not getting enough water, not getting the right food, just sleeping all day, being awake all night, just things like that, you know, just general things athletes shouldn't do. You know, there'd be times I'd be up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'd sleep till 3, 4 in the afternoon. I'd jump up, have a bowl of cereal, and drag myself to the gym. And not all the time, but there were stages where I've done that quite often, which obviously is not right. It's not the right way of going about things, is it? But again, not all the time. Obviously, not all the time, because obviously I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I've achieved, or you know, be able to do what I can do. But I've never lived 100% like an athlete, like I have been doing this last 6 weeks, and I can feel the benefits. I feel fresher, you know, I feel fitter and stronger than I've ever been, and I feel mentally fresher than I've ever been as well.
Do you know what's quite frightening about that? Of everything you've achieved, and you're saying you didn't give it 110%. What happens now? Do you know what I mean? That you're giving it that. It's like.
Do you know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say I didn't give it 110%, because...
Sorry, that was my...
No, you're right, I never, but at the time I thought I was.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Now I'm realising maybe I never quite gave it, or I gave 110% of what I had.
Yeah.
But I wasn't living out of the gym correctly, so it's kind of like, you know, realising the mistakes I've made and how much better I feel in myself by living the way I'm living. And as I say, I've said it before, you know, in a couple of interviews in the last few weeks, you know, when people keep saying when we get back to normal, this is now my new normal. In a kind of way. You know, there's obviously things that I will be doing, like I say, getting back up to Manchester, things like that. You know, obviously the odd things here and there, but I'll not be living the way I used to live, and I used to just doss my life away. Unless I was in the gym, I'd be dossing, and it's not the right way to be.
So I want to talk about your last three fights. Let's talk about the Buglioni fight first. Bloody hell. So you are one of those fighters, really exciting to have a look at, actually. Real come forward fighter, aggressive, powerful, even more so now. But like, what I find quite exciting about watching you is you're one of those fighters, aren't you, that will give one or two to take one. Or
yeah,
you know.
I think so. I think sometimes I maybe do that a little bit too much, but yeah, I'm one of them. Just I'm all or nothing kind of thing, and when I step through them ropes, I'm in there to do a job, and it's trying to knock the other guy out. And you know, I'm not like in everyday life or even in the gym. I'm not that kind of way inclined. I'm not that aggressive animal, if you like. But when I step through them ropes, I do change, and I'm in there to do a job, and I'm trying to inflict damage onto not obviously damage isn't serious damage, but I'm trying to hurt the guy, and I'm trying to knock him spark out. And from the moment that first bell goes to the fight's finish, that's what I'm in there to do. And as you see, that's what I'm about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, really exciting to watch actually, because not only can you box, you're kind of on the edge of your seat thinking, flipping out, this could go right away, could explode right now. Do you know what I mean? And finish this fight. So you get your next fight, world title shot. I should have said the last one was for the British title, won it in the Commonwealth. So
Buglioni was the British and Commonwealth.
Yeah, so then you go off to the States, don't you? You get your first loss of your career against Artur Beterbiev.
Yeah.
I hopefully said that right.
Better.
Yeah. So firstly, thinking about that loss, no one wants to box him. Was it a case of like, I'll throw the dice, this is where I've got, these are the kind of opponents that I need in order to get to that top level? Because a lot of people didn't want to know him, did they?
No, like you say, they didn't beforehand. And you know what? I always was confident that I could maybe win that fight. Yeah, it was like it was. I always thought I could win. But I always knew I could possibly lose as well. But I think when I got there, fight week, I didn't. If I'm honest, I don't think I dealt with the fight week too well. I think I let the occasion get to me a little bit, even though it might not look like it did. And again, as soon as I was in there, again, straight to business and trying to do what I do. But I do feel I was a little bit tensed in that fight. And there's things that I could have done better. But it's one of them, you know, I gave a good account of myself and I got beat by the best man on the planet. So it's not the end of the world, but you know, I would love to get the chance again because, you know, might probably beat me again, but I just like to have another go just to correct the mistakes that I know I made personally. But again, you know, if I get the chance, I do. If I don't, I don't. We'll have to see. So
talking firstly about, you said that you're not, you know, you weren't in the right place, a little bit stiff. I think that was a word you used.
Yeah, a bit stiff and a bit tense.
Yeah, and the occasion kind of got to you. So, you know, firstly, when you went away from that fight, did you do anything or have you done anything that sort of corrected that side of things, that you don't get overwhelmed by the occasion?
Yeah, I think I just kind of actually grew in confidence from that fight. You know, it's like kind of, I was kicking myself thinking, oh, why did I feel like this? Or why did I think that way? Or, you know, why was I doing this? You know what I mean? And I was thinking, it was kind of like, you never had to be like that. You never had to think like that. You know, you should have believed in yourself more. And it was just kind of just kicking myself, you know, and I was just thinking, you know, I'd like to get the chance again. You know, I'm not saying I'd win the fight, but I'd just like to have a chance again just to go into it without making them mistakes, you know, and see what happens.
So you were confident after that you could, you would like to go and have another crack at it. In terms of what you've been doing over the last, God, it's 7 weeks now, is it not? 7, 8 weeks?
I've lost count. I don't know what day it is.
I don't. But taking into account what you have just gone through in this lockdown period, what you've achieved in this lockdown period, past your wildest dreams, now, how do you feel about going back into that fight? If you get the opportunity.
To be honest, even before the lockdown, I feel more confident going into the fight, and you know, but after the lockdown, it's kind of I have kind of took myself to a new level, you know, of conditioning and fitness and strength. So, you know, it would be fighting a better version of me. Would I be fighting a better version of him? Maybe, maybe not. Again, it's the questions that we don't know. But if I got in the ring with that same Artur Beterbiev as I did that night, I think it'd be a different story. You know, I could be deluded, but you know, we won't know, will we, unless it happens.
Fingers crossed. So then you obviously have picked yourself up. You have another fight after that. Sean Mahonigan.
Yeah.
Brilliant TKO. Saw it. Felt a bit sorry for the guy, if I'm perfectly honest.
He's a nice guy as well.
Yeah, I did feel a little bit sorry for him, but I was very impressed with your, for you sort of just to come back off that loss, you know, erase any doubts, should anyone have had any about you. And you feel a little bit like now you're making a momentum. Do you feel like you've only, you know, you've maybe only have a couple of years left and so you've got to crack on?
Yeah, basically. It's a shame because obviously, as we know, it's well documented that my career has kind of been a bit of a night stop, start, and it's probably one of the worst stop-start careers you're ever going to see. Some of it my own fault, some of it not. But then I sort of got that momentum, got the British title, got that shot at the world title, you know, then got straight back into America and put in arguably my career best performance against a top contender, and then went and got the injury, you know. So it was like another, like, wow, you know, when's things going to happen for me, or go right for me, or just go smoothly for me. But on the plus side, you can look at it, you know, yeah, I am 34, but I am fresh, you know. I've not had many hard fights. I've not got loads of miles on the clock. As you say, although I know a bit of a contradiction here, but I have lived clean. I've never been a drinker. I've never touched drugs. I've never smoked. I've always lived clean. Like I say, my lifestyle is in my sleeping patterns and my routines have been all over the place. And I've probably not had the best diet at times. But other than that, I've lived very, very clean. So it's not like I've been burning the candle at both ends. So I do genuinely feel fresher and stronger and again fitter than I've ever been. So I know for a fact I've got a real good 3 years in me. I can be at my best for the next 3 years, unless something dramatically, it just went from me dramatically without knowing, but like with just overnight. But as it stands right now, I'm confident I'm better than I've ever been. And I think I could beat anybody on my day. So, you know, I'm not worried about the age factor. I just hope that I get the opportunities, you know, and I get promoted and get the opportunities that I need. And I'd say people do, like you said yourself, people do seem to like to watch me fight. There seems to be quite a lot of interest when I fight, and everybody says I'm an exciting fighter. So, you know, I just hope I get the opportunities, and hopefully over the next 2 or 3 years I can show it and become a world champion, because that's my ultimate goal.
So if you had a choice to pick your next 3, you know, opponents, who would be on your wish list to get you to that point of world title?
Obviously, the next fight is supposedly for the European title against Igor McKelkin. That was obviously scheduled for May the 2nd. So I believe that's still going to happen. I don't know. I've not heard anything that it's not. So again, I don't really know. But that fight, win that, defend that, or even jump straight in for a world title. And Canelo, because he's a big money fight. You know, everyone wants a Canelo fight, don't they?
Yeah.
Let's be honest as well. You know, I've got a family, and I want to try and over the next 2 or 3 years earn a few quid to try and secure my family the best I can, because, you know, the last thing I want to do when I come out of boxing is just go to a normal everyday job and just basically live my whole life in regret, thinking I should have, could have, would have, and, you know, I'm having to struggle now, and I shouldn't have to be. But it's what it is, isn't it? It'll be what it'll be, and, you know, at the end of the day, the main thing's happiness and health. So it'll all be what it be. Yeah.
I mean, I do hope that you get your chances. You're saying about the fight that was scheduled for May
the 2nd, yeah.
For May. So, I mean, to be honest, I can't imagine you'll need more than a bit of sparring and some sharpening pads.
That's it. I said this. I'm literally, as it stands right now, I'm 2 or 3 weeks of sparring and pads off being ready. That's it. You know, I've got 50 rounds in me, let alone 12. So, you know, I need a little bit of sparring, a bit of pads, and just a little bit of sharpening work, and I'm ready to go. So as soon as I get that call, you know, I'm literally free. I need 3 weeks. That's it.
Wow.
So
because that's been one of the main things, hasn't it? That you know, even though they're talking about doing things behind closed doors, etc. It's like, well, hold on, that sounds great in theory, but some of these guys and girls have not been able to train properly. Majority, to be fair.
That's it. That's it. And it's not only that as well. It's kind of like, so if they set a date for say July, mid July, but we're not allowed to start using gyms till mid July. You know, how are you going to get the sparring? How are you going to get the pads? You know, it's kind of, it's all up in the air at the minute, as you say, and we're getting told this from one person, and then you read something from somewhere else, and I've kind of not really thought about it. I'll be honest. I've not all I've thought about is myself. Not sound selfish here, but like, all I can do is control what I do. I can't control anything else. So I thought, you know, worry about yourself. Don't worry about when it's going to open up, when everything's going to happen. Just keep yourself right. And when you get the call, you know you're ready and you've given yourself the best chance. Because I'd hate to get that call and say, oh, you've got this chance here on August the 20th behind the doors. And I'm like, oh, I'm not fit. You know, I've got to lose 2 stone, or, you know, I've not been training, and that'd be my fault. But then at the same time, it's hard for people if I've not got, you know, I'm lucky that I've got this garage and I had a bit of gear laying about and I could set it up. And the first week of lockdown, I was just getting the garage ready. So, you know, it's easy for me to say, keep yourself right. But, you know, there's a lot of people out there that's not fortunate enough to have that. But say the roads are always open. You can always do a circuit. You can shadow box. You can get hold of some dumbbells and shadow box with dumbbells. So you can keep yourself fit and half right. So, you know, it's. I think it comes down to the fact of situations like this is that how much you want it or how much you need it. And again, if I was 25, yeah, maybe I would chill out a bit more. Maybe I wouldn't have been training so hard. Maybe I wouldn't be keeping myself like I am because I'd have had time, you know, and 6 months out wouldn't have really done me any harm. As it stands right now, I've had a year out through injury anyway. I've had 2 or 3 years out in the past through injury or whatever reason. So I've got no more time to waste, and you know, it's kind of it's now or never kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so. Yeah. You have though not only kept us entertained with the old challenges you've been doing, you've kept us entertained with the jokes as well.
Yeah, so I think what it is, you know, I also like I have to do things. I'm always on. Some people might think, God, he's never off that social media. But in a way, it kind of keeps me sane and entertained as well. It's you know, I'm one of these people that if I can make one person laugh throughout the day, or I can inspire one person to go for a run, that keeps me. That's me done for the day, and my spirits are high for that day.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So it's kind of helping others to help myself. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like a two-way thing. You know, it's a way of my keeping myself right. And you know, I've been doing some live training sessions on my Facebook, and people have been joining in. But again, that's been a way of helping me motivate myself, because I've been telling people I'll do this session at this time, so I can't let them down.
Yes.
Because, you know, so that's motivated me to get in there and get it done. And not only that, when there's a few people watching, you got to put that extra bit in as well, haven't you? So it works both ways. You know, they're helping me as well as maybe I might be helping a few other people.
So talking about your humour and stuff, I mean, you know, you've got to a really high level in your boxing. It's not over yet, but you see some boxers sort of spilling over into the celebrity lifestyle and that. Have you not thought of doing any sort of little bits of telly? Because you know you've got a really nice personality. You've got you know, you're funny. Oh, I think you're funny anyway.
To be honest with you as well, I'm a bit of a shy person. You might not think that, but again, on social media, you kind of got a mask on, if you like, so you can sort of half be yourself. When you kind of in a room with loads of different people and you're kind of in that social space, I'm not as I'm a little bit withheld or a little bit quiet at times, and maybe I shouldn't be, but that's something that I don't know. Maybe I need to sort of overcome. But yeah, I can be quite shy and quite quiet.
Hmm. I think, did you come into boxing though, Callum, at the time where you didn't really have to do the social media side? You just used to have to go and box, and then you went home.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it was a little bit changing at the time. I was kind of, when I turned pro, social media was a thing, but I don't even think I had Twitter when I turned pro. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really go on my Twitter now anyway, to be honest, a great deal, because it's not a nice place, I find. But I like Instagram. Instagram seems to be full of, like, say, better people, if you like, more positive people, and not people that just want to drag you down. But yeah, social media wasn't a massive thing. But like you say, nowadays, if you can get that big social media fan base, you know, that sometimes can come in front of talent, can't it? And you know, it's, but again, I'm not, you know, just through lockdown, I've been on it more so, and just messing around, because again, what else is there to do other than train? Other than, you can only go for so many dog walks or bike rides. You know what I mean? I take the dog for it. I mean, the dog hides now when I get the lead out. So he's getting sick of dog walks. Like I say, the kids go for, we take the kids for a walk every day, and we go for a bike ride, but then my older lad's always on the Xbox, the little lad's playing with his stuff, and there's only so much you can do. Yeah. You know, so you find yourself just joking around on social media, and that's, like I say, that's where it is. That's all it is, really.
Well, to be honest, it has been uplifting to see the stuff that you post on. I think I reshared a couple of things that I just thought, because you do have your funnies, but you also have you posted a few things that have.
Yeah, that's where my bipolar comes in. that's where my my split personality. That's what I'm on about. I can spiral out of control very easily. I can go from serious to funny to bad in the space of 3 minutes. I'm
really great posts. Sorry.
No, it's like you say, sometimes, you know, I do see some things, and you just think, yeah, that's like makes sense, and you just share it on to others, don't you? Because again, if sharing, just pass on things that other people might help someone else, or someone else might see it and take something from it. And I often look through people's posts, and if I see something and it just sinks in, I think, yeah, that makes sense. And that's what social media is about, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
Yeah, it should be. What is nice, Callum, is that when we talk about social media and everyone shows the, you know, I suppose we check in to enjoy ourselves and have a good time. But what's nice about having a chat with you today is you're saying that, you know, sometimes I have to focus on something else because I don't want the demons to get hold of me. And I think it's great for not just the viewers, but for other boxers to hear that, because we're not all happy all the time. You know, we're not always motivated all the time, but also you saying about your injuries, showing people how you've come back is a really powerful thing. Really powerful thing.
It is. I've always seemed to kind of, it's a strange one, really, because sometimes it seems like when things are flowing lovely and everything's going smoothly, I can kind of, that's when I can spiral out of control, if you like. When my back's against the wall and things are against me, and it's kind of, you've got no choice other than to switch on, then I seem to switch on. It's mad, really. I can, like I say, with my shoulder, it was like, oh, you're in this position, you've got to deal with it, you've got to get it better, and that's what I did. And it, again, you'd never tell it's been injured now. It's fine. It's just back to, well, I think it's better than it's ever been anyway, because I'm doing things I've never done before. So, but you know, obviously it can't be better than it's ever been, but it's back to as good as new. You would never know I've injured it. Like you say, I've had a few setbacks in my life. You know, that you know, sometimes it takes longer than others to deal with it or get over it or learn to live with it. And but you know, that's what we do as humans. We learn to adapt, and you know, sometimes it can be hard, and you still, like I say, I think when people go through bad times and go through periods of their life where they are struggling, it always comes back to haunt them sometime. You know, 4 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, it will always come back and haunt you on days where you will have days and you feel like you don't want to get out of bed, or you just want the world to crash in on you. But you learn. I think you do learn eventually how to flip it. You know, there's mornings I wake up and like you say, certain things will bother me, and that maybe 2 years ago I wouldn't have dealt with, but now I know how to deal with it, and like I say, I can flip it now, and you know, crack on. And like you say, I think everyone's different as well. Some things that work for me won't work for others, and vice versa. And I think you have to learn your own way as well. You know, that kind of thing. You have to learn your own way of dealing with things.
Yeah. Thank you for being so open, because I think a lot of people sometimes feel that they don't want to get out of bed today, but whether they would admit it or not is a different thing. And I'm not saying that makes somebody, you know, it's just some people just aren't able to do that. It is what it is. But I think it's also important for people to discuss it. And I do think sometimes men just aren't allowed to discuss it, which is, I kind of feel a bit sorry for you guys that you kind of always have to hold this stuff in, which is, yeah.
You know, I'm just a soft soul. I don't mind opening up, and nice. I'll be like, I'm the kind of guy that'll cry at a film. You know what I mean? I'm you know, sometimes I'll be sat watching a film with my missus, and she'll look at me because she'll know it's one of them, and she'll be like, "That is for here." I'm like, "I'm all right. I'm all right." But no, I'm a little bit like that. But it is what it is, isn't it? You know, everyone. Some people aren't, some people are, and you know, if everyone was the same, it'd be a boring place anyway. So we're all different.
So is she the one going, "Are you crying?"
Yeah, I'm the one at the back of the cinema like this. But it don't matter because I can fight. So
exactly.
You know, tough men do cry.
Yes, they do, my friend. Yes, they do. So lastly, finish this statement. Because of COVID-19, I am grateful for
becoming a better person, becoming a better family man. Grateful for my family, grateful for my health. You know what I mean? Grateful that I've got this gym. I've got, you know, when I look at things, you know, I look at my house and where I live, and I look round and reflect on what I've got and who I've got. You know, how can I be unhappy? You know what I mean? How can I be? Because, you know, I'm so blessed, and I think everybody is as well. They just have to kind of sit back and look what they've got. You know what I mean? And sometimes, yeah, people have got more than others. There's loads of people out there that's got far more than I've got. You know, and there's loads of things out there I'd love to have that I've not got. But when it's all said and done, none of it matters. You know what I mean? None of it matters. Help, family, that's all that matters. So.
Yeah, lovely. Really nice. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time. I really appreciate it. Nice to speak to a Lincolnshire yellow belly.
Yeah, I never knew you was from Lincoln.
Yeah. Been here 20 odd years, 22 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not bad. To be honest, it's a nice city. It's a nice city. I'll be honest, I don't really like too many places in Lincolnshire, if I'm honest. But I do like Lincoln. When I say that, I don't like places in Lincolnshire, but I'm still here. So, you know, and I don't think I'm going anywhere.
If I knew, you know, that houses were going to be that expensive down here, I think I would have stayed up there, to be fair. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say the house prices in Boston they're cheap in Boston, so you'd be all right here. You get about 10 houses for the price of one. It's madness. It's not the best of places.
I think I've been there once or twice, but
that's why you've never come back, then, isn't it?
I think I went to the football. My friend used to be. I don't know if he was the caretaker manager or the CEO of Boston. There's Boston United, and what's the other one?
Boston Town. Boston United. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I went once.
It's not a bad town. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's not as nice as it used to be. You know, but it is what it is. It's all right. Boston Stump. That's nice.
What's that?
The Boston Stump, the big church.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. You can tell I didn't know what the hell that was.
That's taller than the cathedral. That is.
But is it as nice as the cathedral?
No, not quite. Not as big. Not as big.
So
See, I think
keep it then.
It's equally as nice, but it's just not quite as big.
Okay. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm wishing you all the best. I can't wait to see your fight next.
Thank you.
But until then, yeah, just keep doing your thing, my friend.
Nice one. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thanks a lot.
Look after yourself. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.